What's important for your investment company in 2018?
Well, for us, we see dividend growth as critical for our shareholders. So we continue to identify opportunities of surprise in dividends. This isn't just companies growing their dividends rapidly, it's also companies that the stock market has written off. And there are many companies out there where the dividend was believed to be over. And of course, some of them, in some cases, in some of these large FTSE 100 companies, it does get cut. But we need to identify those stocks where the dividend continues to be paid and where the yield is therefore going to move downwards. In other words, it's called dividend compression. And we see that potential for dividend compression across a wide range of sectors.
Interesting. Andrew, what's important for your investment company in 2018?
I think it's going to be a more difficult environment for markets from a macro point of view, but probably better for the economies supporting the markets, because whenever the central banks start tightening policy, even if they're doing it very, very gradually, there's a danger that somebody who isn't wearing a seatbelt will end up hitting the windscreen. And as we go through next year, you've in addition got several central banks which are reducing their QE policies of buying government bonds. So the supply-demand picture for the bond market is becoming is deteriorating quite markedly. And there will be periods during next year when people will either fear potentially that there's a central bank mistake out there, policies being tightened too much, or the bond yields spike up in response to a rise in inflation. And so from our point of view, I think it's important to make sure that you're invested with companies that are not particularly dependent upon the economic cycle, and also to avoid excessive leverage, because that's really what destroys value that you can't get back.
Right. And Tom, what's important for Scottish Mortgage next year?
I see three areas to focus on. First, as always, is trying to get better at investment, trying to refine the process, trying to work out how we're going to find the new opportunities. The second would be to improve communications with our shareholders. It's something we put a lot of effort into, and as the trust has grown, I think it's something that we have to continue to improve at. And the third would be to try to continue the trend of taking advantage of the scale that we have to drive down the costs for shareholders, because costs really matter to the returns that people will generate in the long run.